Are you from another dimension? Like a parallel universe where things are like this universe but different? And you're Spider-Man in that universe, but somehow traveled to this universe, but you don't know how?
I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse? Because I thought that was just theoretical. I mean, that completely changes how we understand the initial singularity. We're talking about an eternal inflation system, and how does that even work with all the quantum? It's insane. Sorry. It's really cool.
Hello and welcome to another project. In this week's project, we'll be working on Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Now, this project was weird in the sense that usually I trace and animate from movies, but for this particular project, I couldn't find the specific view of the characters that I wanted. So what I did was I mixed and matched pictures from Google, and then I composited them into what I wanted the characters to be. So it was basically a pose of the characters looking frontwards, because I wanted to make them look like they were sitting at the edge of the building, you know, in a specific front view camera angle. So I couldn't find that one, so I created one myself. So what I'll do is that I'll just put the links of the original pictures that I copied from Google that I used in this Trace and Animate project. You know, I don't want to become a douchebag and pretend as if I drew this from my head. So I will give credit where credit is due, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for it. Alright, so let's jump into this project. So first I started off with Miles. What I did was I tried to replicate the style of Into the Spider-Verse. Now the final result wasn't exactly as, you know, what it looks like Into the Spider-Verse, but I was pretty happy. And the idea of this project was to take Tom Holland's Peter Parker and try to animate him in the same sort of style that Miles is in. But I don't know, I don't think it was exactly, but I do think that it does fit almost into the world of it. I'd say about maybe 60% of it, so I was happy with it. Now going back with this project, it was a creative one in the sense that I had no reference of what I wanted to use. So usually when I take from a movie, the dialogue is there, the scenery is there, the background is there, everything is there. But for this one, it was literally mixing and matching characters, which I wanted to do originally. So these are the ideal videos that I would like to create. So what I did was I went to YouTube. I searched for clips of Tom Holland's Peter Parker talking, and then I also went to find did I say picture? Videos. I meant videos. I also found videos of Miles Morales, and then this dialogue that I chose for this video was the one that worked really great for me. I was like, yeah, I like how it is, and it does kind of give it the idea that they're both awkward, but it also does make it seem like they are talking to each other because the dialogue does flow naturally within each other. So here I had to reference the Snickers because yeah, even the Snickers, it was a copy and paste from another image. So about 3 images were used on Miles Morales. Just a little note there. So yeah. So I was happy with the dialogue that I chose for these characters, and I think it worked. And the one thing that I noticed working on this project was that when it comes to all the projects that I've worked on, this is the one that I can say looks like my work. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'd say, have you ever looked at something and you could by just looking at it, you could tell who did the project? I feel like this is the one for me, where if you looked at it, you'd be like, Precious did this project. Like, you can see like some of the distinct features that I use, especially if you compare it to my older projects. Yeah, it actually reminds me of an incident in high school that I'll share. So I remember when I was in high school, I did one of my major subjects was visual arts, right? So they came through this project where I had no paints to, because every term we had to paint a project, like canvas and pastels, or what was it, acrylic paints. And I remember I was out of acrylic paints, and one of the other kids, a friend of mine, he came up with a proposition. He was like, look, I need help with my painting, and I know you need, you looking for paints. So how about you take my acrylic paints home, and then you do your project. When you finish your project, you do my project. I was like, yeah, sounds like a great deal, right? So I get home, I do my project, I finish it, all is good. And then I work on his project. Subscribe, we're at the halfway mark. Just to interrupt this story, if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for getting this far, and I'll continue the rest of the story. The key word for this video, for me to know you've made it this far, is Into the Spider-Verse. So if you can put Into the Spider-Verse in the comments, then I know that you've made it this far. So thank you so much for watching. Back to the story. So anyways, so I got home that weekend. I finished my project, did my painting, used his acrylics, and then I was like, okay, let me move to his painting. And I did his painting, and I finished his painting as well. Monday came, we submitting our project, and the teacher just looked at it. In fact, everyone in the class could see that I painted it, because it had those distinct features that would tell that it had that it's my artwork. Because I feel like everyone's got a style. Even if you mimic someone else, your style always tries to come out, and it eventually does. So everyone could see that that's like Precious did that painting. And I remember the teacher was like, he was like, did you do this painting? I was like, I didn't do that painting. He's like, did you do this painting? He's like, this is the last time, did you do this painting? And I was like, I didn't do this painting. And then yeah, my friend got 0 for the project. Yeah, for the painting he got, because that was the practical, he got 0. I didn't get marks removed, so it did work out for me in the end, but I felt so horrible, that it worked out that way. But I think the best part of this friend of mine, his name was Kevin, was that he was very cool about it. He wasn't upset, he didn't get angry, he almost like just got over it so quickly. So that was really very nice of him. So here, oh, okay, so I was just confused for a second. I was watching this video through the playback, I lost myself in the story, and I was like, wait, am I recording over the right video? Because I imagined that the video would be 10 minutes, but I realized that, oh, creating Miles actually took longer than it usually does to create most of the characters. So I do feel bad that in this video I haven't been talking so much about the project, so I'm gonna stop up at the personal stories and I'm gonna jump right into this project. 10 minutes late, or 7 minutes rather. So yeah, so let's get into it. So with Miles here, it wasn't, I think in terms of just animating his whole body, it wasn't too difficult. There were elements that I had to use from another picture. So here you can see what I'm doing is that I really like the position of this hand. So what I did was I copied it, and then I'll put it over to Miles's body. So I did reference these two pictures to work in conjunction with each other. So here, this was me just stealing the hand from Peter's body. So with Peter's one, it was only the head that I stuck on. Otherwise, everything else was from a picture that I traced from. So here you can see I'm just creating the jacket for Miles. And then what I'll do is that I will put it to the other side. And you can see that's coming together. With Miles pick, this one took about 2 hours and I think 2 hours and 45 minutes. So this was the longest project that I've done in terms of a single character design. I've done ones that were a lot of work, but this one I think takes the cake in terms of time. So this one was about 2 hours 45 minutes, and then I just compressed it to 20 minutes. Otherwise, the longer a project is and the shorter it is compressed, the more it just goes wild. And it's also hard to keep up with what's happening as I explain what's going on in the project. So here, what you can see, I really try to do the style as much as I can. What I did struggle with was that in the actual movie of Into the Spider-Verse, they've got this like texture on them, like this comic book texture on it, and there is a way for me to create it, but what did I struggle with is that the result just does not look well with the method that I would have wanted to use. It makes everything look very flat, and it doesn't give a sense of like depth. So here I'm just adding the colors, and I really because he's also already an animated figure, it's easier to pick the colors, just like the video that we did with Pokemon. that was also easy as well. So again, we're at the 10-minute mark. If you've made it this far, please, pretty please, consider subscribing. The goal was for 16 subscribers, and I'm proud to say that we've hit that. So thank you so much for everybody that subscribed to the project, and you know, everyone that contributed. So that really means a lot. So now here we halfway, so please consider subscribing. So here I try to add that shade to his face, because you can see there's like a dark shade, the base shade, which is his normal skin color, and then there's that almost light shade where it's like a glow almost. And here I'm just adding more details, and here I was happy that you're starting to come alive. Now the final video, I don't think it looked exactly as Miles, but I don't know how to put it, but I was happy with the results. It's not exactly the way I would have wanted it to be, but I don't think you can ever be happy with the results, because I think you're constantly looking for improvement. But I was content with what he looked like, if I can put it. So here you can see I'm just adding that teal jacket color. You can see he's coming alive. So this project also did, I think, also look very puppeteery, if that's a word, because obviously all the projects that I've been doing has been puppet animation, but I think this one was the most puppet looking animation out of all the projects that I've done. You can see there I'm just adding his eyes, and we should be still a long way to go. I was about to say we should be finishing, and I was like, nope, there's actually still a lot of work to go with him. So again, I didn't mind doing the amount of work. I know I could have made it shorter in terms of like the details, but I really just wanted it to be as detailed as possible without complicating it. And even though it was I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought there. But the idea with Miles's character is that originally I didn't want him or Peter to talk, so I wasn't too worried about them talking. And then what I decided after was that I was gonna make them talk. So this project, to be honest, wasn't really well planned, because I was doing it by ear. So whatever came to mind, I was then doing it. Because usually with all the projects, I've got like an idea set in stone of what I want and how I want to animate it and add it to the animation. But this one, it wasn't it wasn't well planned. So I need to just be careful of that and make sure that in future I do better. So here I'm working on his sneakers. I really like the sneakers. It was very nice, the colors, and they worked really well together. And also against the backdrop that they were sitting against, like in terms of the overall composition, I was happy with that. So here I'm just copying his pants. I found another picture from Google that I was just gonna reference the colors. So sometimes, like, I'm not very good at, like, again, coloring from my head, so I'd rather use a reference, as it helps me much better than, you know, if I had to like imagine stuff up. So you can see with Miles is almost complete. So what I wanted him to do is I wanted him to be holding a cup as he's with Peter, and then I did try to make them drink, but the animation looked a bit horrible, and then I decided to remove that from the project. So here you can see I've come to that part where I'm adding my little flair to it. So this is my distinct style, adding thicknesses. It's not distinct to me of course, but it's just what I like. So here, as you can see, I'm just adding those thicknesses, playing around, looking at him, and then we're gonna put it together. And then what we're also gonna do is just also create a bone structure for him so that he'll be able to move as we animate him in the final project. Now in total, this project, how long did it take? It took 2 days. So usually I need to start my projects by Friday to finish them by Monday the latest. So with this one, I started on Sunday and then I finished it on Monday because I wasn't too sure what was gonna happen, but I am pleased with the final result of what this video was. And it kind of showed me that almost any project can be done, especially if you're really determined to do the project. Like, trust me, nothing's gonna come your way. And I was worried that, I think for this week, as the week of making this video, I don't know when you're watching this, could be in the future, but it's on the 2nd of February 2021. This is when I'm recording this. Yeah, so this week I thought that I wouldn't have any project for the next week. So I was really a bit worried. So this project came to the mind and I was able to complete it. So I'm happy with that. So you can see Miles is almost complete. So what I'm doing right now is just creating a hand that will be holding the coffee. Not even the coffee, the cool drink or cold drink, whichever you prefer. So you can see I'm just using another hand as a reference. So I think what I like about tracing and animating is that there's just, especially when you use real world references, there's just infinite possibilities of what you can do. And I think the only thing that any person that's learning to animate, especially in puppet animation, because this is where it works the most or most effective, is that you just need to understand how your composition will look like, and this way it helps you use the references in a great way. The only thing that I just want to put emphasis on is that you gotta mention the way you got your references or whose pictures you used, rather than pretending like you did them by yourself. So that's always the negative side of it, is like if someone uses a reference but doesn't give credit. So in this video I'm gonna put all the references that I used in this to make this video, just so that I can give credit to the people who actually did the picture, and hopefully they don't be like, you didn't ask for permission. But yeah, so here you can see, so now you can see that's actually starting to come to life, and you can see he's holding a cup. And then what I did was that those little shades on his hand actually didn't work out the way I would have wanted them to work. But yeah, so him just having the plain hands is alright. I really struggled with the color of his nails, hey? It didn't look right for a long time, and I don't remember what I did in the final video, but I think I might have even removed them because it was really such a struggle. As you can see, I did end up removing them because I felt like it wasn't necessary and they didn't really add anything to the final composition. So here you can see I'm just adding that. So that is just a cup, adding the colors. It looked weird making it white, so what I did was I was like, hey, maybe I can make people subscribe. So hopefully if you saw this you'd be like, let me subscribe. So you can see I just put a subscribe button there for people who are like interested in subscribing. I hope you are interested in subscribing if you've made it this far, and if you have made it this far, then I'm pretty sure you will enjoy all the other videos that I've done in the past, and yeah, they always there. I'm still at a point where I can do requests, but it's almost no one has asked yet, so that's a sad feeling. But I'm hopeful that in the future, like when people get this far, they'll know that you can actually make requests, and that I will animate the video of your requests. So you can pick any scene from a series or a movie or anime or a cartoon, and I would do it in a jiffy. And then yeah, so still to date no requests so far, so hopefully in the future I'll get some of them. So now as you can see, I've put the rig on Miles, so he's able to move now. We can move him a little bit, and you can see he looks cool. We can move his hands and legs, but then making him look like he's drinking was very hard. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna work on the test animation, make him start to come to life, and we're gonna composite everything together so that our scene can come to fruition. So you can see here I'm just putting him there. This is just closing the eyes, and that is looking very lovely. So I think this will be the longest project in this series of Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse. The other videos probably will be shorter than this, but I could be wrong. But anyways, no video goes above 24 minutes because I feel like anything longer than that, it becomes a drag. So here you can see giving him some little motion. That's the test animation, and then obviously in the final animation he was against the wall, and again that's the idea that I was going for with this project, just to have him sitting against the wall and, you know, looking. Yeah, so I tried using the Gram staff in background, but I didn't like the way it looked with this composition here. So what I did was I just created like a basic wall, because I knew that in the final animation I will fix it. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.